If you have made it to semifinals or even finals of a pro dance audition and you haven't made the team yet, this episode is for you because that is one of the hardest places to be. You're so close. You've pictured yourself in the uniform, and yet you still don't know what you can do to make that no, not right now into a yes from the judges to making it onto the squad. You worked your butt off and you're right on the edge of your dream, and yet you don't know what you did or what you can do to make it so you hear your name be called when the team is announced. And the hardest part is you're wondering why. Was it your technique? Was it your look? Was it your interview? And most of the times, judges and coaches don't have the time to honestly give you feedback, right? They have auditions, they jump right into season, and you are left questioning, what can I work on between now and next auditions so I make it onto my dream team, right? So that is everything that we are going to be talking about today, of being the finalist to becoming the professional. That gap is not talent. It is not luck. It is how you prepare. And it's being the whole package that the judges are looking for. So here's the difference of being good and being great. When you're at finals, even semifinals, all of the dancers are amazing dancers. They also really want it, right? So what separates those who hear yes and those who hear no, not right now? It's how you show up when the music stops. It's all those little things that are in between actually being in front of the judges. Now, dance is a big part of it, right? There's that 90% of it is your dance skill, your performance skill, your entertainment skill. But that other 10%, that can be the make it or break it on whether or not you're a finalist or you're on the team. The judges are watching how you interact with others. They're interviewing you to see if you are a brand ambassador who can represent a globally recognized organization. They're also seeing, do you fit in with the team ethos, with the vibe of the current team? And all of those little things can be, this person is, I'm holding up a headshot, this person is the right person for the team, and this person is so close, they just need one more year. And what if you're the dancer who just needs one more year, and yet you don't show up that next year, or you question your ability, your strength, your skills as a dancer and a performer, and you just needed another year under your belt to make those refinements? Could you imagine if you're like that close and you just didn't show up to auditions, or you didn't believe in yourself enough to invest in yourself and your growth in becoming that better dancer? I want to dive into that a little bit more today, because there are dancers who are just right on the cusp. Some teams actually, like, they do it by numerical order. So like you get a score from the judges, right? And here's the breaking point. Everyone above this breaking point makes it onto the team. Everyone below that doesn't, right? What if you're that person who's just a little shy of making it onto the team? And if you took that next year after not making it from finals, if you took that next year to improve 1% in every single little piece of the puzzle that comes with being a pro dancer, you could be you could be a completely different person showing up to auditions. And that is exactly what the coaches are looking for. The coaches normally, unless there's a new head coach, are the same every single year, right? And so if they see progress in you, if they see increase in your skill, your coachability, everything that you put effort into this past year after hearing a no, they're more likely, in my opinion, to put you on the team, because they know that when you are told no, that you will show up for yourself, that you will improve, that you are coachable. And all of those little pieces make a huge difference on whether or not you make it onto the team after you've heard a no at finals or semifinals. I have a story for you. Karrie was a former Timberwolves dancer, and she went to audition for the Golden State Warriors. And she auditioned, I want to say 5 years in a row, and kept on not making it. And yet she kept on showing up for herself. And the year before she made it on a team, she went through the TCC program. And even though she was already on an NBA team before, she still knew that to be the dancer that was for the Warriors was a different dancer that they were looking for the Timberwolves, right? There's no bad or good. It's just sometimes they're looking for a different style, a different type of dancer, a different brand ambassador, right? And so Karrie came through our program and ended up making it onto the Warriors and now has a championship ring to show for it, right? And she got to experience what it was like to be on 2 different teams and hear rejection and still fight for the spot that she knew that she wanted so badly on the Warriors dance team. And I just want that story to encourage you that even if you have heard no once or you've heard no 5 times, that it is still possible for you if you keep iterating on yourself as a dancer, your growth as a dancer, and making those small little tweaks that sometimes only a coach can see in you and believe in you and guide you ultimately to bringing out that part of you that you don't even know that you have, just because someone can see something different in you. And so I want that story to encourage you that if you have heard no before, that you can turn that no into a yes. And it might just take a couple seasons. And speaking of Karrie, the next thing I'm going to talk to you about is mindset. And it's so perfect because Karrie actually has her own company now, Serving Sundays. Karrie's whole company is about mindset and movement. And so these 3 things about mindset are a tribute to her and the work that she does in this space. First, I want you to shift from being a performer to a professional. And ultimately, to be on a team, you need to be a performer. You need to be this entertainer because you are going to be in front of thousands of fans and you need to have that performance presence. However, you also need to be the professional. Again, you are going to be representing a $1 billion brand and an organization that is globally recognized. And so to be that representation, you have to be the professional. And even just think about professional athletes. They don't show up still needing to know how to dribble and shoot a free throw, right? How to throw the ball, right? And so being the professional from an athlete perspective is having the fundamentals of dance. So we talk about this a lot in our programs. It's your double turn, it's your kicks and your leaps. Those 3 fundamentals are going to be the thing that help you get onto the team. If you don't have those 3 pieces, I want you working on those every single day, okay? Because that is not only being the dancer and the performer that you're supposed to be, but it's also being the professional. Because like I said, these athletes don't show up being like, hey coach, I need you to show me how to do this. They already know those fundamentals, and the fundamentals of dance need to be in your body for you to make it onto the team. Next, I want you to think about being the professional in all other aspects of your life. So it's how you walk in, it's how you speak to others, it's how you present yourself at interviews, and being able to engage with people that you might have honestly just met. Because when you're on a team, you'll be engaging with season ticket holders, ownership, little children, right? And being that representation of an organization, of the brand, is one of the most important pieces, in my opinion, because that is honestly a big portion of the job. You are sent on appearances so often, and it is one of the most rewarding things that you can do. And if you can't hold a conversation with people and engage with them, it will hinder you from making it onto the team, because that is one of the pieces of the interview process and going through auditions. That is one of the pieces that the judges are looking for. Are you someone that we can send out on behalf of the brand and represent us? So first, we're shifting from performer to professional, right? That also includes your resume, your headshot, your application. All of those pieces need to be professional. And so making sure that when you're thinking about the entire audition process, that you are thinking about those small little details and not just about how do I show up and be the best dancer and blow everyone out of the water. Next, I want you to learn that rejection is data and not defeat, okay? Every time that you get told no, hopefully throughout the audition process, you've heard at least one little nugget from the coach or the choreographer or someone that you've learned about yourself, another dancer, or about the process that you can take away and iterate on to improve at your next audition, right? Whether it was directly told to you, it was told to another dancer, or it was just mentioned, you can go through the experience and learn from it, right? And so I want you to take every single piece that you have learned and really implement it into your body and your experience and say, how can I improve 1% on this piece? Whether it's how you submitted your kind of resume, headshot, application. Did you do the very best that you possibly could on those pieces, or did you just type it out and send it? How can you increase it 1% every single time that you audition? When you're learning from a choreographer, how can you be engaged and learning, right? All of those different pieces, when you're going through the audition for the first time, the second time, or even the third time, you can learn something and use those no's as a way to iterate on and improve for the next time. Okay, my last little thing on mindset is that confidence is not built in the audition, it's built in the prep. The amount of time that you prepare for auditions will support you in feeling the most confident that you are. If you're prepping a month before auditions, that is going to do you a disservice against the dancers who have been training and prepping for the past year, 6 months, right? Because they're in the day-to-day of preparing for these auditions and you're like, cool, I'm just going to wait until the month before because there's no urgency, right? Urgent versus important. If you've ever looked that up, urgent is like it has to be done right now, but the most important thing is the thing that's maybe a couple weeks out, a couple months out, a year out. That's important to you. Yet these urgent things take up the time. And so if it's important to you, you need to make it urgent. And I just want to encourage you to start training before you think that it's time that you should start training. And then lastly, I want you to think about the dancers who are on teams right now. When you're preparing, they're also preparing. They're on a team. And if you're in the NBA, it's 41 home games and 2 to 3 practices a week. If you're in NFL, 10 home games, 2 to 3 practices a week, right? These dancers that you're going to be auditioning against at auditions, right? They are getting practice week in and week out. And I want you to do the same and have that same mindset of I need to be practicing day in, day out, because that is what my competition is going to be doing too. You most likely at some point will get paired with a veteran and you will be compared to them to see if you can hold stamina, hold energy, keep that like veteran like standard. And so the veteran is not your competition, but I want you to think of that person who is training every single week, and I want you to do the same. So I want you to start thinking about what you can be doing now during the off season. And I say that in quotations because there is no true off season when you are on a team. You go from auditions to practices to season, and then you go straight back into prepping for auditions, right? And so this is your off season, which is not audition season right now. And this is the best time for you to be truly showing up for yourself. I want you to start working on these 4 things. We already talked about it earlier, but your technique, right? Technique and choreography skills are ultimately one of the most important pieces. And because you are auditioning to be a professional dancer. And so being able to learn choreography, retain choreography, and perform choreography in a short amount of time is so important. And I can talk about all the other things that you need to work on, but fundamentally that is the most important piece, and your technique. So choreography and technique, that needs to be practiced every single day, every single week. Next, I want you to train your performance mindset. I have seen amazing dancers come through, go to finals, and get in their own way and get in their own head and completely blow their audition because they were so worried about being perfect and didn't have the right mindset going into final auditions that they either forgot or they just dimmed their stage presence and their light, honestly, and got outperformed. And you can be a very strong dancer, a strong performer, and at finals, if you don't show that to the judges, because it's a brand new judging panel, you could get overlooked because they're seeing you for the first time. And so you want to bring that same confident energy in every single part of the audition process, because you never know what judges are going to be in front of you. Third, I want you to start thinking about your personal brand. So you're like, hey, I'm auditioning to be a dancer. I'm not trying to have a personal brand. That's great. You don't have to be huge on social media to make it onto a team. However, I do want you to be cognizant of the things that you do post, the story that you put out about yourself, and if that's aligned with who you want to be on a team and someone that you're proud of showcasing in front of a large organization. So every post, every video, every comment, all of those matter. And so start thinking about your personal brand and what you represent. And then lastly, I want you to get feedback. I mentioned earlier, you're not necessarily always going to get feedback from the coaches or the judges. But if you could get feedback from a professional who has been in the space, that is the best thing that you can do. And it's one thing to take class and practice. The other thing is to get practice and feedback. That way, when you are practicing, you know what way you're steering the ship, right? You can be steering the ship, but if you're going in the wrong direction, that does you a disservice. So getting intentional feedback and putting in intentional practice is one of the most important things when you are in that semifinals and finals round, because there are just little tiny tweaks that can be made to make it a yes and making it onto the team. And if you're listening to this or watching this episode on YouTube and you've made it to finals, you are so close. And one, I want you to know that. And two, I want you to not give up on your dreams. You don't need a total reinvention of you. You just need a little bit of refinement to take you further. And that is exactly what we do inside of the Cultivate Code. If this was helpful for you, I would love to invite you to apply to join one of our programs at thecultivatecode.co/apply. And if you're not exactly sure where you want to start, you can join our free masterclass and grab your seat at www.cultivatecode.co/3-secrets. I'll leave both the links below so you know. And inside of our programs and in our masterclass, we teach the framework that is going to support you in that growth that we're talking about today. And honestly, it's the exact framework that have helped nearly 100 dancers make it onto their dream and NFL and NBA team. I encourage you to click the link below and join either of those. And I cannot wait to talk to you soon.